In this video, we're going to cover the Unaric Voice for Teams dashboards and reporting. So what we can see here is one of the phone tasks with some of the data that's captured for any of the calling that's made from Microsoft Teams via Unaric Voice for Teams. There is a separate video that goes over all of the fields within these phone tasks. I want to show you this because it's the data from the phone tasks that's used to create the dashboards and the reports. So this is what the Unaric Voice for Teams dashboard looks like. We can see the total call count, currently sitting at almost 1,300, and you can also see the call duration across those 1,280 calls. So 573 minutes have been spent on those calls. We also have the answered versus missed calls. So you can see there's been 226 answered calls and 554 missed calls. And if you hover over these as well, you can see a percentage. So for example, 43% of calls in this case have been missed, whereas 56% of calls have been answered. We can also see the ratio between inbound versus outbound calls. We can see the amount of time spent on calls inbound versus outbound, so the amount of minutes on inbound calls versus the amount of minutes spent on outbound calls. We have call queue data here as well, so we can see the amount of calls that have come in on the call queue. So for example, customer support queue has had 99 calls. Across those 99 calls, there's been 239 minutes spoken, and the average call duration is 142 seconds. We can also see inbound versus outbound calls on a per queue basis, as well as the catch-all on the left-hand side. And we see the answered call status as well in a pie chart here. Similar to the call queues above, you can also see calls per agent. We can see the amount of calls each agent has received, the sum of minutes they've spent on those calls, and the average call duration. And here we have answered versus missed calls per agent, and we have inbound versus outbound calls per agent as well. So going back to the call queues here, we can see the amount of answered calls on the queues. So the customer support queue has 83 answered calls. Unaric sales queue has 14 answered calls. And this is missed calls on the queues. So again, we can hover over it. We can see the customer support queues had 16 missed calls. The Unaric sales queue has had 1 missed call. This here is call duration, so 0 minutes are missed calls, and then there's 0 to 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes, and 2+ minutes. One thing worth noting with the dashboards and reports as well is this is provided as an unmanaged package, which means that it's installed into the customer's Salesforce org, and at that point they essentially own the dashboards and reports. You can modify them, so for example these values you can change them to whatever suits you, as well as you can add more to the reports and dashboards. You can remove reports and dashboards that you don't find necessary, etc. So here as well we have busy hours. So in this example the busiest hours are between 9 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And this shows missed calls per queue in hours versus out of hours. So again, you can modify the time of day, but the purple is missed calls inside of office hours, where we can see there's been 13 missed calls, and the blue shows there's been 3 missed calls outside of office hours. Now, all of these graphs are clickable. So for example, if I want to see these 3 missed calls that were missed outside of office hours on the customer support view, I can click this and it will take me to the associated report. And within here, we can see the 3 missed calls. If we click into one of these, it will take us into the related phone task. And from within here, we can use click to dial by clicking on the from phone number to call that person back.